Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And today I want to discuss about if Yu-Gi-Oh should go digital. So I recently watched a video by my good buddy Uruz. He released a video explaining how Yu-Gi-Oh isn't perfect, but it's still special. And one of the reasons he gave is the digital platform of Master Duel. And he made a suggestion on how he thinks everything Yu-Gi-Oh should go on Master Duel, right? So I just want to expand on that a little bit, right? So Yu-Gi-Oh has existed for over 2.5 decades as a physical card game, and over those years we've had several video games come out for Yu-Gi-Oh, most of which weren't really. Maybe some of them were received well. I didn't really like them and they didn't look too appealing. But in November 2016, we got Duel Links, right? And everyone loved it. Even, I would always play Duel Links. I would play Duel Links after work, during work, or before work. There's some people would get mad how much of that game I was playing. But it was the best Yu-Gi-Oh! Digital game at the time, right? And then in January 2022, we got Master Duel. And Master Duel is basically the best digital version of a card game that we've ever had, of any game, pretty much. And these games became so popular that they even included it in the World Championships. And for Master Duel, people haven't even been making tons of content with it, right? I just seen the name escapes me, but it's a couple of YouTubers. They're a couple. I think they just recently got pregnant or had a baby. I think they just got pregnant. They mentioned how it's just easier just to make content with Master Duel, right? They can bust out 2, 3, 4 videos in a day, while if they went to locals, it would have taken all day just to make one video, right? And we even see it with channels like Farfa, Simo, Team Sam. They make a lot of content on Master Duel. Even Jesse Cotton makes some content on Master Duel. Guru suggested is that everything related to Yu-Gi-Oh be on Master Duel. The anime, the alternative formats, even Speed Duel and Rush Duel. Even older games that we used to play, on like the PS2 or something like that, right? He suggested even Dungeon Dice Monsters be put on Master Duel, right? And I don't think any of that is a terrible idea. It might even be inevitable, right? Because there's a lot of good arguments for Yu-Gi-Oh to just be digitized. Now, first, basically anyone with the internet access would be able to play Yu-Gi-Oh, right? In a lot of places, a lot of countries, Yu-Gi-Oh isn't supported. Even if you live in a country where Yu-Gi-Oh is supported, you might not have a big community where you live. In LA, there's a lot of support for Yu-Gi-Oh. I remember where I used to live, there was at least 3 shops I could go to. 3, 4, 5 shops I can go to, if I wanted to play some Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Day and night. I know here in Austin, I live in Austin now, there's not really like a big Yu-Gi-Oh scene. There's like a few shops that like sell product, but there's only really one shop that like hosts tournaments. And anytime there's a regional, it's usually somewhere in like Houston, El Paso, Fort Worth, and the closest place like San Antonio, and that's still like an hour away if I want to go to a good regional. There's not really any regionals here in Austin, right? There's only there might be maybe a YCS. It's not even a YCS. The last time a big event was here in Austin was like Nats last year, right? And digitizing it would just bring communities together. There might be players out there that no one knows about that have a lot of skill. They just don't have good access to Yu-Gi-Oh or good support around their community, right? There might be people out there that you might like, some friends you can make. Some people actually make friends online. I remember there's this rap group, I think, or former rap group, I should say. I think they call themselves I think it was YBN, like YBN Corday, YBN Namir, and I think it's Almighty J. Was that? They met, I think, over like an Xbox game, like Xbox Live or something like that, right? There could be, but my point is, people make friends online all the time, so that can just open a whole new door. And I even imagine it's like worse in like other places around the world, like in Europe. I know they haven't had a lot of events, at least last year, but with it just being online, we could bring in thousands, even millions of new people to play Yu-Gi-Oh. I think that transitions into my next point, convenience, right? We don't have a lot of places we can go in an adequate amount of time, right? If you want to play Yu-Gi-Oh, you have to maybe ask for a day off, or wait to have a day off, or wait till the weekend, wait till a certain time, maybe like 10 to noon, whatever time, right? With it just being online, it's just, you can just turn it on, maybe get a game or two in, and then you'll be good, right? And like I mentioned, content creators, they basically take full advantage of this. They can bust out a bunch of videos at once because Master Duel is just right there in front of them. They don't have to go anywhere. They just film right there in their own space, right? There's no packing, no setup, no driving. Just press record and you play. And that's easier and easier to, collaborate with other content creators like this. You don't have to maybe travel somewhere. You don't have to maybe like set up a set up a space for like the remote duels, right? Before, a lot of content creators will use like YuGiOh Pro and dueling book for content creation, but now that we have things like Master Duel, now it just makes things way easier. It's like an official platform for Yu-Gi-Oh that people use and love, right? And I think the next reason, which is I think the biggest one, which it makes things cheaper, right? We all know Yu-Gi-Oh is infamous for how expensive it can get, how expensive its cards can be, how expensive travel can be, and having all the cards at your disposal, just right there on your computer or on your whatever used for gaming, it just makes things way cheaper. No matter what they do, is going to be cheaper. Whether like you have to buy the cards online, or it's like a monthly subscription. Whatever you do is going to make playing Yu-Gi-Oh incredibly cheaper, right? And it's gonna get rid of the stress of the secondary market, right? And we can even host tournaments on there. On places like Dueling Book, they have tournaments all the time, like every day. If we can host actual maybe regional tournaments, or whatever prizing they can give out for these tournaments, it can make things way easier, right? I think having bigger turnouts allow for better pricing, right? It wouldn't matter if you got the display case, or maybe even a what they call it, an air fryer, if you didn't invest much, so it doesn't really matter, right? You're not really playing it for the money anyway, right? You're playing it for the love of the game. But I think at worst we have to pay a monthly subscription to something like this, which I don't think is a bad idea. I think that's great. Having access to everything Yu-Gi-Oh for maybe $20, $30 a month. I think that's pretty good. Pretty good deal, right? Stores can even host their own tournaments on these platforms. I think that would be a good idea. Like these OTS stores, that might be a little bit more contradictory, because it's going to be a more digital thing than a physical thing. I'll get to that a bit later. I think the best way for this to be done, and the most fun way for this to be done is putting it in some type of virtual world, right? Kind of like the concept of Duel Links, where you're you're this character or this person, and you just go around dueling, right? But I think it's having like Sims, you can create your own character, have your own duel disc, and just go around, walk around this virtual world, maybe challenging people to duels and going to certain spaces and having tournaments and going to certain stores, these virtual stores within this game, maybe to purchase certain maybe sleeves, skins, etc. Right? Anyone can get on here and then just be part of this huge community, and we can even, like in Duel Links, it can even have its own like worlds, right? There can be a world for Duel Monsters, GX, 5Ds, etc. Right? Having something like that would still like have the spirit of the game, have the spirit of what they want to do, right? I just think I just think it would be the coolest thing ever, right? It'd be like you're an actual duelist within the world of Yu-Gi-Oh! You can even play the games like Dungeon Dice Monsters, and you can have these big animations like they do in Master Duel and Duel Links when you summon a certain monster, right? We can all even hang out, right? If you live in a different state or a different country than your friends, you guys just get online and just hang out. You even have to play. You just hang out in the virtual world. And I think that'd just be one of the greatest things we can do, especially in the future. Whatever's like the world is turning into right now, right? Like we have almost everything is being digitized, and Yu-Gi-Oh! They can get ahead of the curve. Maybe it'll eventually happen. We even started with what was it? Promethean Princess? Correct me if I'm wrong, but that started on Master Duel. That came out in Master Duel, then it came out in the TCG. So if maybe that's just a little taste of what is to come. This is just coming into my head. And you can even have these themed events, right? Maybe during Halloween time, they have a bunch of decorations. You can be able to play with certain decks and have certain tournaments around these themes. I think it's just a idea that is it's just untapped potential, right? Now, I think the biggest trade-off is what I would say is Yu-Gi-Oh's actual identity, right? It's a trading card game, right? Which means it's a physical thing. People buy the cards, you go with your friends, or not even your friends. You find someone and you trade the cards. From what I can see, that is the only con, but it is the biggest con, right? It is a big one. I don't think anyone will see having a digital card game as superior as of actually playing the physical one, right? I think it's Yu-Gi-Oh's biggest appeal. It's been its appeal for, as I said, over 25 years. And if we were to like have this hub where we can play Yu-Gi-Oh where we want, when we want, and how we want, it might just make the physical TCG obsolete, which is sad to think about. But in my opinion, it might even promote the physical card game, right? It's like when you watch like your favorite anime, TV show, or movie, something like that, right? And you want to go out and buy a figure, right? You want to buy a figure, you want to buy a poster, something like that, right? Having the cards online, it will make you want to go buy the physical cards, maybe even in a higher rarity than what it is. And unless they like go all in with this idea, I don't think anyone's gonna stop playing the physical card game and stop going to events. Like I said, if you can hang out with your friends online, it is technically easier and cheaper. You still want to be right there next to them, like experiencing the world with them. It's same thing with Yu-Gi-Oh. You want to experience Yu-Gi-Oh. Like, it's cool that you have maybe a character online you can play with, but you actually want to be the person summoning that monster, right? Not your character online that you can just like escape into. It's actual experience that people crave, that people want, that people feel. And I definitely think most people would say that the IRL Yu-Gi-Oh is the best Yu-Gi-Oh. I would say if a game like Hearthstone had physical cards, like official physical cards, I think people would be flocking to them. I mean, y'all can correct me in the comments, but I would say I would think so. But I want to know what you guys think. If this is a good idea, if this will kill the physical card game. Maybe is this inevitable to happen? Maybe in like 10 years, will Yu-Gi-Oh be more digital than physical? But let me know how you guys feel about this. I love having these conversations with anyone I can. It's interesting getting others' opinions. So thanks for watching, and make sure to like and subscribe.